and welcome to the Grammaticus tutorial on related numbers. Today we're going to look at this maths-based question which often appears on the Lincolnshire GL verbal reasoning paper. Let's have a little look what we're being asked to do. In each question the three numbers are related in some way and we've got to choose the number that correctly completes the final group. Before we do that, let's have a little look at some numbers and see what happens when we do a different operation with each one. So on the board you can see that I have four sums that use the same numbers but have a different operation. Let's see what happens to the 8 when we complete each of these sums. 8 add 2 gives me 10. 8 times 2 gives me 16. 8 take away 2 gives me 6, and 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. If we look at the 8 and we look at the answer that we've got at the end here, we can see that the number has got slightly larger. So if we add something to a number, it gets larger. 8, well, when we times it, it gets larger still. But both add and times make the number larger. Now let's have a look at the second pair here. 8 take away 2 equals 6, so our 8 has got smaller. It's become 6. It's got a little bit smaller. And then in our final sum, 8 divided by 2, we've got 4, so it's got a lot smaller. It's half as big as it originally was. Now it's worth bearing this information in mind because this often helps when we're considering related number questions. So let's have a little look at the questions we've got here. Well, what we've got three numbers here, 45 and 5, and we've done something with these numbers to make the number in the middle. Now whatever we did to get the number 9 in the middle here, we did the same operation with these two numbers to get the 9 in the middle there, and we've got to use the same operation with the two numbers we've got over here. Now I can see I've got 45 here, and I can see that the number in the middle is a lot smaller. Now if you think about it, we were talking before, we're saying that to make a number smaller we're either going to take it away or we're going to divide it. Now it's worth considering, is the number here a factor of the number out here? And yes it is. 9 is a factor of 45 and so is 5. So I'm thinking, okay, I can divide 45. 45 divided by 5 will give me 9. Let's see if that works over here. 72 divided by 8 will give me 9. And 39 divided by 3. Well, that's not in the times tables that I normally know, but I do know that 36 divided by 3 gives me 12, and 39 is just 3 more than that, so 39 divided by 3 has to be 13. I've got 13 in my multiple choice answers here, so I'm going to circle that. I'm going to transfer that information onto my multiple choice answer sheet, and once I've done that, I'm going to cross out question 1. Let's look at the second question we've got. I've got 16 and 5, and we've got 11 in the middle. 23 and 15 and 8 in the middle, and then we've got 37 and 9. And remember, whatever we do with the pair here, we've got to be able to do the same with the pair here. Well, I can see from 16 to 11 it's got smaller again, which tells me it's probably going to be divide or take away. So it's got smaller, but it hasn't got a lot smaller. So it's probably going to be take away. Well, if I look, 16 take away 5, well that gives me 11. 3 take away 15 will give me 8. Now I've got to consider now what 37 take away 9 is. Well, if I think 37 take away 10 is 27, and then if I add 1 on to that, it's going to give me 28. I've got 28 down here on my multiple choice answers, so I'm going to circle 28 and transfer that information onto my multiple choice answer sheet. When I've done that, I'm going to cross off question number 2. Okay, let's consider question number 3. Well, I've got 12 and 6 and 30, 8 and 4 and 20. Now the number in the middle's got bigger this time, so it's probably got something to do with add and times, and it's got quite a lot bigger. But I look at 12 and I think, well, 12 times something, I can't quite get to 30. So let me see what I can do, what I can times this by to get to nearly 30, because I've got to remember I've got to include this second number as well. Well, if I double 12, if I times 12 by 2, 12 times 2, that gives me 24. And then if I add 6, I'm going to get to 30. Now, because I've done two operations there, to remind me what I've done, I'm going to write times 2 there, and then I'm going to put add there. And then I'm going to check that on my next pair. So I'm going to write times 2 there and then add. So 8 times 2 is 16, and 16 add 4 gets me to 20. So it's looking as though I've come up with the correct operations to do. So I'm going to do 9 times 2, which is going to give me 18, and then I'm going to add my 3, which will give me 21. So I'm going to circle 21, and then I'm going to put that on my answer sheet. And once I've marked it on my answer sheet, I'm going to cross number 3 out. And finally, let's have a little look at question number 4. Well, on question number 4, I can see in each case the numbers got an awful lot bigger. I've got 3 and 4, and I've got 49, 7 and 1, and I've got 64. So remember, if a number gets bigger, it's probably got something to do with timesing. Now, the number's got a lot bigger than, say, 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and however I sort of try and work those numbers, I'm finding it very difficult to quickly get to 49. So that's telling me that that's probably not the correct thing to do. But looking at the number 49 and 64, those look very familiar to me. Now, similarly to how important they are in number sequences, you must remember about square numbers when you're completing your 11 plus. They crop up all over the place. Now remember, a square number is where we times one number by itself. To get to 49, we did 7 times 7. Now if we look at the two numbers outside here, we can see we've got 3 and 4. Now 3 and 4 added together give me 7, and 7 times 7 gives me 49. So that is looking as though this could be the operation that we need to carry out to get to 49 in the middle here. So let's try this here. 7 add 1 is 8. 8 times 8 is going to give me 64. Okay, let's look at the question we've got to try and find the answer to. So we've got 1 add 10 is 11. 11 times 11 will give me 121. So I'm going to circle 121 on my answer sheet. Then I'm going to go over to my multiple choice answers. I'm going to mark it on there and then come back and cross that off. I hope you found that useful, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.